Hello.
Hi.
I'm Kelly.
And I'm Adam.
Welcome to I Love You But, where we talk about common relationship issues.
And our advice on how to deal.
While we drink wine.
While we drink some wine.
Tonight we are concluding our conversation of the 5 love languages, the book by Gary Chapman.
You love it, read it, go get it.
And we gotta sum it up for you. There's a conclusion to every paper, to every book, to every paragraph.
A thesis.
There's a
if
thesis.
You will. So these are our final thoughts on this book. And the first thing I just want to get out of the way right now, if you're not expecting it, this book has religious overtones. We haven't talked about them at all. Gary Chapman is clearly a man of faith. The people that he generally works with are couples that both have a lot of faith.
Christian faith. I still think it is a book that is worth reading whether or not you believe in the Christian faith.
He might refer to something faith related, but at no point is he preaching. At no point does he talk about...
It's relevant and you understand why he's using that point or
Correct.
that reference.
It's really easy to ignore if it's something that you don't like.
Or it's something that easy to understand and you can go, oh, I see how you're using that. That's cool. This is another piece of literature.
You can gloss over it without a problem. Quite frankly, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Or you can just take it at face value and not put any religious connotation behind it, which I think is also pretty easy to do.
Totally.
Or if you are a Christian and you follow that faith, then you can take that how you will. It doesn't make or break the book whether or you're a Christian or not. I really like this book because it creates a common language. So Adam and I have read this book twice, and every time we read it, we get a little more clear in our disputes with each other. So whenever we fight, whenever we have an issue come up, we can say, you know, it goes back to this. And I can say acts of service, and he totally understands what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to get him to understand what I mean with all these other examples and hyperboles and I don't know all the other grammar words that you have in English class. Like,
it just creates a new way to communicate love between the two of you, because you can start from a place where everybody understands.
A general understanding.
Yeah. You understand the terms being used.
Exactly. You have to understand the terms.
Yes. And I would actually like to replace...
terms of use.
Totally. I would like to replace language, creating a common language. I'd like to replace that and say creating a common wavelength. Is that valuable at all?
Says the sound guy.
Creating common frequency, creating common...
creating common tones.
Creating common tones, bro. I think language is confusing because you might not be speaking the same language, and therefore it doesn't create a common language.
Right, but you have to be able to read the same language to be on the same page in that metaphor.
I feel like I just learned something.
Like if you're reading the page of English or reading the page of Spanish, to be on the physical same page, you have to be able to read the language. So if you know English, Italian, Spanish, Lithuanian, and French.
Latin. Throw Latin in there.
No, I already said Lithuanian. You can be on the same page no matter what your mother tongue is.
Mother tongue. Phrase of the day, if ever there was one.
So finding your love language, it has to do with what makes you feel loved. What does not make you feel loved?
Nope.
What do you most often request from your partner, or what do you nag about? How do you express love? And what in your mind would make an ideal partner?
That's a really interesting exercise.
Yeah. When Adam thinks about it, he sees my face.
I do. I see Kelly's face and a whole different set of characteristics.
We're not getting married in October, okay. Also, list your languages in order. Like, you've heard Adam and I say, like, oh, this is my primary language, this is my secondary language. You need to list them in order. Because, like, yeah, I like receiving gifts, but that's not how I express love, and it's not how I receive love. Although I love getting gifts, like it's
fun.
Pretty low, you know, in the order.
It's cool to sneak number 3 in there every once in a while, you know? That's why it's important to have the order.
I'd say everybody likes all 5
everybody
to some extent.
Does.
But you have to rate, it's like rating your favorite color. Like, I have a lot of favorite colors or favorite bands, but like 1 is at the top. 1.
Always.
And then there's a number 2.
Oh.
And then there's like, and then I guess these other 3 fall into place.
It's super important to talk about your love tank often to make requests. And it'll probably feel a little silly the first few times you try this out. Look, my love tank just isn't full. Just doesn't carry the weight you want it to in an argument, okay?
Yeah.
It just doesn't.
I'm not personally the biggest fan on the term love tank, but when Adam says, hey, my love tank is riding kind of empty, I understand what he means.
So don't be afraid to use that term. Never be afraid to make requests. Really, you should be afraid to make demands, but never be afraid to make requests. Your love tank deserves to be full.
If you have different love languages, that's okay. You just need to be able to talk about them. And I feel like this book does give you the tools and the language to be able to talk about it in constructive ways.
Because love is a choice. You have to choose it. You just have to.
Every day.
Every single day. Underneath everything you say and do and experience, like, you have the love for your partner underneath it all. They're part of it. They're so much of your life. You have to choose to speak their languages and to make them happy the same way you want them to make you happy and to choose your languages. There's no reason to harp on anything too long. There's no reason to hold a grudge.
When you're holding a grudge, you cannot also choose to love them every day. Like,
when you hold a grudge, that's also what puts you into making demands all of a sudden.
So you have to choose to forgive. Yeah, I mean, it's not always about forgetting, but I mean, that's a whole nother thing, I believe.
Forgive and move on, though, for sure.
Yeah, definitely move on and learn how to work through it so that it doesn't happen next time. Or so, I guess, rather, that there's not a next time. And we wake up every single day deciding whether or not to speak our partner's love language. So words of affirmation is not my number one love language. In fact, it's my number 5, and it doesn't come naturally to me. But I have to wake up and choose to say, okay, well, this is how Adam receives love. How am I going to fill his love tank? Bloop, bloop, bloop.
Bleep, bloop. Love is selfless, and when you choose to speak someone else's love language, you are doing something selflessly for the other person, to go the extra mile to make them feel loved and to make them feel included. You're not doing it for your own gratification. You're doing it for theirs.
So you make them feel significant.
They're your significant other.
Love ties into the need to feel significant, not just as a partner, but also as a human being. Love is one of those essential human needs.
And without it, we feel lost and horrible.
It's just like food, water, air, shelter, wine, everything that you need to survive. You need that feeling of love.
Love and interaction.
Whether it's from a romantic partner or platonic or family love or whatever. If you're in a relationship and your partner's not speaking your love language, then you don't feel that significance. That was something I found so profound about this book that I had not thought about before I read Gary Chapman's book.
If you do not speak your partner's love language, you do not make them feel special. I said that with some venom on purpose.
You did.
I look at you because I look at you. But that was for you.
When you are loved and you become significant, your differences become insignificant. Whoa. I could not say that word because of my wine mouth.
Because of your wine mouth.
I think at the end of the day, this book is about communication.
Thank you for that.
And spilling wine over everyone. I'm so sorry.
Oh, good. Push the cold liquid on my skin. Jesus.
And communication is key to any relationship, but especially a romantic relationship. Find your ways to communicate. Whether it's this way that Gary Chapman presents, if you have a different way, that's totally cool. But this way kind of speaks to us.
It works for us for sure.
Can I speak for both of us when I say that?
You can speak for both of us. I absolutely love the level of communication that's established.
So thank you, Gary Chapman, for coming up with these 5 love languages.
We appreciate it.
And I think that you've helped a lot of people understand their relationships and their friendships and their family and just people in general. So here's to you, Gary
Chapman. Thank you.
This has been I Love You, but we need to talk about concluding the 5 love languages.
A grand summary, if you will.
Grandiose.
Communication and love and the such.
Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know if you have any questions on the 5 love languages. Let us know what you thought of the book if you've read it. And if you haven't read it, read it and let us know what you think.
If it didn't help you, I'd be curious to know why. Because it really helped me.
Reach out. We'll talk to you soon. Have a wonderful rest of your night.
Bye.